we have been preparing for what would eventually be some sort of talk between the U.S. and China, in particular, the meeting of the two, head honchos. The big conversation, at least among kind of diplomatic circles, was what is the U.S. going to do on export controls surrounding semiconductors and AI chips, and how was China going to have a similar discussion over export controls of rare earths, critical minerals, and permanent magnets? One needs the other needs the other, and that's really the core here. China announced 2 nights ago that they were putting more export controls on rare earths and permanent magnets, specifically tied to the equipment to make these things. It was a big deal in the community that follows this, the industry that follows this, but it hadn't really reached a level of knowledge to, I'd say, broader markets and audiences. And I think the president's Truth Social post just now has really brought this to the fore.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it was a very lengthy social media post from President Trump here, which I've read and seen. And in that post, he kind of calls out the fact that, listen, rare earths are important to the U.S.
Yeah.
And they're really important to us, but we've got a lot of stuff that's really important to you, kind of making that argument here. So I'm wondering, you've covered this side of the business for a long time, and we've seen this president make some bold claims that it may be open to negotiation. And is that kind of where we're going to go here, do you think?
Maybe. I mean, this is so fresh right now. That's as you know, like, it's unclear sometimes when the president is very, very serious about what he said, and sometimes when it might be like kind of a negotiating tactic. The sense has been, there is going to be some sort of haggling beforehand, and we'll see what that is. It's come to the front now at this point. Whether or not he'll meet with the Chinese president, with Xi Jinping, unclear. The bet would be, though, that, these two sides are kind of lobbing into the public forum, like, what is really at stake here. And, tariffs, I mean, there are many people who've said now for a while, like, well, the tariffs just have been so high on China since the first Trump administration that threatening higher tariffs, it's unclear what impact that would be. And of course, back in April, when he did threaten the big tariffs, that's when you saw China's true retaliation, which was the explicit export controls on rare earth magnets.
Yep, that seems to be a pretty big bargaining chip here. Do we have any sense of where China's coming from? Do they want to make deals with the U.S.? Do they want more open trade with the U.S.? Or are they pretty confident in their ability to go without it?
I think China knows what their leverage is. At the same time, just speaking to people in industry, in national security, defense, they also understand that they do want access to chips, right? The United States is well ahead of China, especially on AI chip manufacturing. And this is an industry that China would like to gain some space on. That's why Trump announced the revenue share from NVIDIA and AMD chips, these lower grade AI chips, and Letnick has talked about it. And that's really what's at stake here. And it seems like China thinks this is the pressure they can put on to convince the United States to lift the export controls that they have on those products.
It would seem to me it's always better to talk and to have dialogue and negotiation, and ideally to meet face to face. How important do you think a meeting with President Trump and President Xi at this APEC meeting, which is in the end of this month in South Korea, how important do you think that is to the whole thing? It's
a great question. It does feel like, even today in the highly technological world that we live in, that face-to-face does matter. And the president being able to see Xi Jinping face-to-face, maybe a little bit of the bluster that we see kind of publicly posted can ease a little bit, and they can have a more pointed conversation. But again, like, you talk to people who've been in the room with Obama or Biden or previous presidents, right? Big diplomatic summits. This is the kind of work that is months in the making, and every comment and every smile or look is heavily practiced. So it is critical.